keeping it simple is key. And so defining your purpose is really like, we all have a purpose, but, as a company, for me, Beviva, our purpose is to help people with sensitivities be able to eat on the go. And
Yeah.
so that's our purpose. So anyone who works with Beviva, we know that. But how about your family? Like, what is your family's purpose? Right? Have we ever thought about that? Like, what is our family's purpose? Where do we see ourselves sometime in the future? So one of the great ways to do it, there's a couple of things. First of all, is to create, there's a couple of things. Let's start from the very basic. So each
Yeah.
of us have a different type of genius. We're all geniuses in our own ways. We're all heroes, superheroes. But until we actually dig deep, we don't really realize it. And then we realize that, as a Marvel, a superhero team, each of them for what they're known for. Superhero Spider-Man climbs up on walls, I don't know all the superheroes, but you get the idea.
We get the point. We get
So
the idea.
yeah. So imagine your family. Imagination and storytelling is very, very powerful. So imagine talking to your family one day intentionally, sitting down, especially with the weather coming, sitting down in front of the fireplace or sitting outside in the yard, and then imagining that, we are a superhero team. What are we? What are our geniuses or what are our superpowers? That's really going to be a question they're going to start
I love
thinking
that.
about. Like, what do you love to do? Just maybe making it more simple. What do you love to do? And
Mm,
so I'll give you an example. For
mm,
me, I love coming up with ideas. That's my big thing. And I love talking to kids, and I love talking about parenting, and I love talking to other small businesses. So that's makes me really excited. And so each person will have something different. Even if you have a 3-year-old and he loves building buildings or blocks, right? That could be his superpower. He's very, very architectural.
mm.
And so that to me would be the very first thing, is their passion. What do they love doing? And then that will help them identify their superpower.
I love that.
So I know, and I'm sure like whenever we think of that superpower, we think it's so far off, but in reality, it's not. It's just the way we live. And I think we've modernized it so that we feel like we're all the same, maybe from the surface, but we're
Yeah.
all so different. We wouldn't know much. I wouldn't know much about you, Jen, if I didn't, really get to hear you out. And your
Yes.
superpower, you're great with podcasts.
Aw, thanks.
You're great at writing, I think that to me would be what I know of. So that would be the first step, it really. And then from that, we can dig into, what do you want to do 3 months from now? And so what we popularly in business know it as a vision, we can
Yeah.
actually create a 3-month vision
Mm.
that is simply, okay, today is December. What is October, November,
October.
December, January. So 3 months would be January 8th,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right in time for the new year.
So yes. So pretend today is January 8th. What have you done in the past 3 months? How are you in terms of your health? Um, how many books have you read? What new bakery recipe have you made? Where
Yeah.
have you gone? What friends have you connected with?
Mm.
What project have you? So they can be broken down into very simple prompts
Yeah.
based on your own family. Create a few prompts and sit there and just sit down and write it out. And all of a sudden, your family each has this vision that you can say, I'm so glad that these past 3 months I have read a book a week,
Mm.
and that my family went to this place for the holidays, or this is how we spent. So now that you present the time as of the future, it makes it more sense. Because if you ask someone now, what do you want to do in 3 months? They won't know.
Right. Wow, that's
It's
so
very
true.
hard to. Yeah, it's very hard. But I've done this exercise this summer too, and writing from 3 months, it can be very emotional too,
Hmm.
because all of a sudden you're talking like, I'm in the future, and then I'm able to jump back and I read this. It's like I'm seeing myself in the future, right?
I love that. I like the idea of doing the 3-month guide too. I heard on a podcast recently that what's hard is when people plan too far in advance. your mind actually sees that future self as a different person. So if you are like committing to like a 5-year goal, it can be really hard for your brain to be motivated to keep that 5-year goal because it doesn't think of it in terms of surviving for yourself. It's thinking of that in terms of someone else's survival. And so your brain is wired to keep you safe, to keep you happy, all of those things. And so it's
Absolutely.
better if you can break it down into smaller chunks because the closer the goal is to you in a like actual timeline, the more your brain can register that that's actually for you and not for someone else. If that makes
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, totally, totally. Especially for the youth,
Yeah.
it has to be something that's within but they can feel, they can see almost. At least they can flip in the calendar and they can see that
You can see
date,
it.
right? And maybe the mom and dad can be the ones that have a 1 year vision
Yeah.
to a company so that every 3 months they can visit to see how much closer it's getting to their 1 year vision.
I
So
love
that might be more practical. And so what's really good too is to have the quarterly family retreats
that.
where you might go and choose a place. It might be maybe a nearby city, it could be for a day trip, it could be an overnight trip for the experience, and everyone gets excited. But you need to prepare your it's like meeting preparation, after those 3 months. What are you delivering? What are you sharing about your vision? What did you meet? What were you able to do? So reminding them that this date is coming, even book it in the calendar and have the trip booked, tells them that, oh my gosh, even though it's just my family, I still have to, whatever, everyone can do it and I can't do anything. So that's that
Yes,
accountability. Yeah. So
yes, I
even if
love
it's
that.
for a 9-year-old, if the 9-year-old loves to bake and says that she's going to do, a recipe a week, or maybe let's make it more simple, like, you know, 2 recipes a month. In 1 year, it's 6 new recipes. And
Yeah.
so she'll feel it and she can post this vision statement on her wall so she sees it every day. And she
Hmm.
can check off the calendars that post how many days are left. And so the parent can be as creative as he or she wants to make that more upfront and close to mind. So
Gosh.
that's something fun.
And uh,
Yeah.
so that's for like each individual within the family. Do you recommend having like a purpose defined for the family as a whole? Like as a collective, we have a goal, or do you think it's best just to focus on each individual?
I think there's several ways. One way you could do it would be the word of the word of the not word of the month per se, but
Yeah,
for those 3 months,
I love
for
it.
that period of time, maybe choose a word that
Hmm.
we all agree on. So let's say we say the word of the next 3 months will be learn.
Okay.
So those 3 months, we all want to learn and contribute. So we're going to be reading more, doing more. Another next 3 months, our purpose might be fitness.
Yes.
We're really pushing on the fitness theme and really making it an effort to be intentional. And so
Hmm.
that could be a way where kids like variety. So if you change it up every
Yeah.
3 months, right? Because if you make it too far concept, like okay, our purpose is good, it might not be
It
relatable to
might not be a
them.
real thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sure,
that
gosh,
could be a way. That's a really good idea. Good question.